Title: The Deep Love of a Mother-in-Law, The Bond of a Family Passed On. Part 1. Solnium Village, warmth emerging in a strange beginning. In Solnium Village, there was a cozy tiled roof house where the sunlight poured down unusually warm. Chaoyan had just become the new bride of that house, having settled in Solnium Village with her husband Junyong after getting married a month ago. Before marriage, Chaoyan knew that Junyong's house was a large family. But the fact that she had to live with her mother-in-law, Lady Jungwon, came with a vague sense of burden. To her, who had always dreamed of an independent life, the intertwining of others' gazes and living habits in a shared space felt like an unknown territory. But Junyong always reassured her.
My mother is the warmest person in the world. Chaeyoung will quickly come to like her.
Words were not just simple comfort. His eyes contained deep respect and trust for his mother. His gaze lightened Chaoyan's heart a little. The mornings in Solnium Village always started with Lady Jungwon's diligence. Even before the rooster crowed, the smell of clean soybean paste stew wafted from the kitchen and beyond the kitchen window. The refreshing green energy of the vegetable garden wet with morning dew spread out. Chaoyan found this morning's scenery still unfamiliar, but at the same time, she felt a strange comfort. On the first morning, when she opened her eyes and saw the neatly prepared breakfast table, she unintentionally sighed. Lady Jungwon was always like that. She seemed to take pleasure in preparing everything before her daughter-in-law woke up.
Oh, Chaoyan is awake. Come quickly and have breakfast. Did you sleep well last night?
Lady Jungwon's voice carried not artificial warmth, but a sincere warmth that had been matured over many years. At first, that warmth was somewhat burdensome. It made Chaoyan wonder, do I really deserve to receive so much kindness? But as time passed, Chaoyan realized that Lady Jungwon's warmth stemmed not from calculated kindness, but from a natural inclination to cherish and care for people. She showed genuine interest in every small action of Chaoyan, and if she looked even slightly unwell, she would offer a warm cup of tea or secretly make her favorite side dishes. One evening, Chaoyan felt heavy-hearted due to a minor mistake at work. The company said it was insignificant, but it deeply affected the inexperienced her. Throughout the meal, her face was clouded, and even the food didn't taste refreshing. Without a word, Lady Jungwon sat next to Chaoyan and served warm tofu stir-fry onto her plate.
What's wrong, Chaoyan? Your face doesn't look good.
Chaoyan hesitated for a moment. Was it right to talk about work matters to her mother-in-law? But in Lady Jungwon's eyes, there was only warm concern, not pressure or interrogation. Chaoyan cautiously shared her worries. It was a small mistake, but she felt anxious that it might reveal her incompetence and had a vague fear of whether she could handle things well in the future. Lady Jungwon quietly listened to Chaoyan's story. There was no criticism or hasty advice. She simply nodded, seeming to fully accept her emotions. When the story ended, Lady Jungwon gently held Chaoyan's hand with warm hands. Her hands were rough, but they felt warmer than any soft cloth.
It's okay, Chaoyan. Everyone makes mistakes and learns from them. There's no one who does things perfectly from the beginning. What's important is what you learn from those mistakes and the effort to do better next time.
Each word from her mouth melted into Chaoyan's frozen heart like warm sunlight. Jungwon shared her youthful experiences to ease Chaoyan's anxiety. Stories like accidentally putting sugar instead of salt in the soybean paste stew she made when she first got married, or burning the freshly cooked rice and making the bottom of the pot black. In these simple but honest stories, Chaoyan found laughter and realized that she wasn't the only one facing difficulties. Jungwon's stories taught Chaoyan more than just simple comfort. They taught her that it's okay not to be perfect, it's okay to make mistakes, and that all these processes are a part of life. That night, Chaoyan fell into a deep sleep after a long time. Instead of vague fears about her mother-in-law, warmth, trust, and respect started to bloom in her heart. Jungwon spared no effort in helping Chaeyeon settle comfortably into her new family. She respected even Chaeyeon's small habits. Knowing that Chaeyeon wasn't an early riser, she left her to prepare breakfast alone without waking her up. She even bought Chaeyeon's favorite coffee brand when she went shopping. It seemed as if she had known Chaeyeon for a long time, understanding and matching her tastes and personality. Living in Solneum village together sometimes drew unwanted attention from outsiders. Particularly the village elders held the stereotype that modern daughters-in-law don't like living with their mothers-in-law. But Jungwon always protected Chaeyeon from such gazes. If Chaeyeon looked unfamiliar at a village feast, Jungwon would approach her first, introduce her, and help her mingle with the villagers. If Chaeyeon seemed tired, she wouldn't force her to come out by saying, "Our Chaeyeon is tired from working in Seoul. Let's let her rest at home today." In Jungwon's care, Chaeyeon gradually blended into Solneum village and this house. Initially, the relationship with her mother-in-law was awkward and cautious, but now it had become natural, like water seeping in. Chaeyeon now shared her daily life with Jungwon without reservation, even discussing her small worries. Jungwon listened to her stories with a warm smile, offering wise advice at the right moments. Their conversations were no longer one-sided teaching, but true communication, where they listened to each other. Before she knew it, Chaeyeon began to accept this house and Jungwon as her true family. She was no longer a stranger. Within Jungwon's strong fence of warm love and care, Chaeyeon was growing into a strong and happy person. Just like the scenery of Solneum village visible from her window every morning, her heart was filling with warm sunlight. This was the start of Chaeyeon's new life, and the beginning of her special relationship with her mother-in-law Jungwon. This warm start became the sturdy cornerstone for the stories that would unfold in the future. Chaeyeon thought,
"To have such a warm and stable life with my mother-in-law."
Her marriage was not just a union with Junyoung, but a blessing of gaining another mother in Jungwon. And this blessing would shine even brighter in the face of future hardships. She didn't know it yet. Hidden within this peaceful everyday life, is the fact that a huge wave of life is soon approaching.
Up next, story explanation.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hi, everyone.
You've shared a really fascinating stack of sources with us this time.
Yeah, they center around a real story, quite a moving one, actually, about family connections.
And we're diving into that often tricky relationship between a daughter-in-law and her mother-in-law.
Exactly. Specifically, part one of this story, which is titled Mother-in-Law's Deep Love, Family Bonds Across Generations.
Right, this first part really seems to lay the foundation. It shows how things begin, maybe with some nerves, but how it can grow into something unexpectedly warm.
Our mission really is to dig into this initial part, pull out the core insights, understand how this connection started.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this. So the story starts by placing us right in Solneum village in Haeunil City.
Yeah, lovely image of a tiled roof house, very traditional.
And there we meet Chain. She's 29, a newlywed, just a month in.
Right, a month into being part of this new family living in this house.
She's married Junyoung. Now, she knew it was a big family, but living with his mother, Jongwon, the source says it felt like a vague burden.
You can understand that, right? Especially since she apparently wanted a more independent life before.
Totally. So sharing space like this felt like unknown territory for her. That apprehension is really palpable.
It is, and it captures that feeling, doesn't it? Facing a big life change, merging families.
But the source quickly brings in Junyoung's view, too.
Yeah, he reassured her, said, "Our mom is the warmest person in the world. Chan will like her right away."
And it wasn't just empty words, apparently. The source notes his deep respect and trust in his mother.
Which did help Chan a bit, it seems. It eased her mind slightly, suggesting, how the existing family's perspective can shape things early on.
Okay, so shifting from John's nerves, let's talk about Jongwon. The atmosphere she creates seems key.
Absolutely. Mornings start early, the source says, with her diligence. You get these great sensory details.
Like the smell of doenjang jjigae.
Exactly, that soybean paste stew. And the view of the garden in the mist. It paints a picture.
And Jungwon's actions speak volumes from the get-go. She's making breakfast before Chain is even up.
Right. And Chan's reaction, not just politeness, but a strange comfort?
Strange comfort. I like that phrasing. It suggests kindness that feels almost unexpected.
Yeah, maybe overwhelming when you're braced for difficulty. The source describes Jungwon's voice, too, having this sincere warmth matured over a long time.
Not artificial.
Definitely not. But interestingly, this genuine kindness was initially a little burdensome for Jane.
Burdensome? How so?
Like, she questioned if she deserved to receive this much. That feeling of maybe not knowing how to repay it yet, or just being overwhelmed by sheer generosity.
That's a really interesting insight. It's not just about adjusting to rules, but the emotional weight of kindness, too.
Exactly. And the point is, Jungwon's warmth wasn't transactional. It came from a place of genuinely caring.
And we see that in the small things, too, right? The source mentions specific examples.
Yeah, taking interest in little things Chaein did, offering tea if she looked unwell, even secretly making her favorite side dishes.
Those quiet, consistent things, they build trust.
Okay, but here's where the story really deepens. It focuses on one particular evening.
Ah, yes, this part was fascinating. Chain made a small mistake at work.
Right. Her colleagues were like, no big deal. But for her, being new, it felt huge. She was upset, couldn't really eat.
We've all been there. That feeling is awful.
Totally. And Jungwon noticed. But her approach was so gentle. She just sat nearby, put some dubu jorum braised tofu on Chan's rice.
Didn't push, just offered food.
Yeah, and then asked softly, is something difficult, Chan? You don't look well.
And Chain hesitated at first, wondering if she should share work stuff.
But Jungwon's eyes, the source says, just showed warm concern, no judgment. And that seems crucial.
Absolutely. That lack of judgment gave her space.
So Chan opened up, shared her fear of looking incompetent, her general anxiety about the future.
And Jungwon's reaction.
She just listened, silently, nodding, accepting it all without advice or blame. Then she held Chan's hand.
Oh, wow. That physical comfort. The source mentions her hand was rough but warm.
Yeah. Sometimes that connection says more than words, you know?
Definitely. And then she did speak.
Right. She said, it's okay, Chan. Everyone learns by making mistakes. No one is good at first. Simple, but profound.
And she emphasized what's important is learning from it, trying again.
And then, brilliantly, she shared her own mistakes from when she was newly married.
Like putting sugar in the stew instead of salt.
Exactly. And burning the rice till the pot was black. Real human mistakes.
That must have broken the tension, made Chain feel less alone.
Totally. The source says Chain actually laughed. It showed her it's okay not to be perfect. It wasn't just comforting words, it was shared vulnerability.
A huge moment for building trust. It says she slept deeply that night.
Foundational, really. That's where the real respect started to build.
And this wasn't just a one-off moment of connection, was it? The source shows Jangwon's consistent effort.
No. Absolutely not. It highlights that building this kind of bond takes ongoing, thoughtful action.
Like respecting Chon's sleep schedule, not waking her early.
Exactly. She didn't try to force Chon into her routine. She just quietly made breakfast.
And the coffee thing.
Yep.
Secretly buying Joan's favorite brand.
Yeah. Little things that show she was paying attention, understanding Chon's preferences without being told, as if she'd known her longer.
It shows she wasn't trying to mold Chain, but rather make space for her.
Right. And then there's this other layer the source brings in the outside world.
Oh, the village perceptions.
Yeah.
That sharp gaze of outsiders.
And that stereotype about modern daughters-in-law not wanting to live with mothers-in-law. That context is important.
So how did Jungwon handle that?
She actively shielded Chon. That's the key insight here.
Shielded her? How?
Like, at village parties, she'd introduce Chon, help her mingle. But if Chon seemed tired or overwhelmed...
She'd step in.
Yeah. She'd say something like, our Chain works hard in the city. She should rest today. Gave her an out, basically. Protected her from gossip or pressure.
Wow. That's more than just acceptance. It's active protection. Creating a safe space.
Exactly. And the result? Chain started to genuinely feel like she belonged both in the village and in the home because Jongwon was running interference, making it safe.
So as we get near the end of this first part of the story, you can see the relationship really changing.
Yeah, it moves from that initial awkwardness and caution to something the source calls natural, like water soaking in.
That's a lovely image. And changes too.
Definitely. She starts sharing more openly daily life, small worries with Jongwon. She's not holding back anymore.
And Jongwon, still listening, offering wisdom.
Yep. Listening with that warm smile, giving advice when needed, but it wasn't just one way anymore.
So it became real communication.
Exactly. They were listening to each other. That mutual respect is another key insight, moving beyond just traditional roles.
So by the end of part 1, Chaeyeon feels like this is her true family.
Yeah, that feeling of being a guest is gone. She accepts the house and Jongwon as family.
The source uses strong language. Jongwon's care created a sturdy fence of warm love and consideration.
And within that fence, Chaeyeon was growing, becoming stronger and happier.
It's quite profound, her realization that marriage wasn't just about Junyoung.
Right. It was also this blessing of gaining another mother.
So this whole first part, it really establishes this incredibly warm, stable foundation.
Yeah, a sturdy cornerstone is how the source puts it. Chaeyeon feels peaceful, thinking life with my mother-in-law could be this warm and stable. It sets the stage beautifully.
Okay, so wrapping up our look at part 1, what does this all mean?
Well, I think what we've clearly seen is how that initial understandable apprehension Chaeyeon felt. It completely transformed.
Into something deeply warm and trusting.
Yeah, and it wasn't by chance. It was built piece by piece through Jongwon's genuine kindness, her actions, her willingness to be vulnerable herself.
And that crucial element of protecting Chaeyeon, making her feel safe and accepted.
Exactly. So Chaeyeon found more than just a place to live. She found real belonging. She gained, essentially, another mother figure.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that family bonds aren't just blood. They're forged in love, effort, listening.
And creating that safe space, showing up for each other.
And it really makes you wonder, looking ahead, when you start with a foundation this strong, this warm, how does it hold up?
What happens when life inevitably throws those huge waves, as the source hints might come later? How resilient is a bond built on such profound acceptance?
Definitely something to mull over as you go about your day.
For sure.
Thank you again for sharing these powerful sources with us.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us create even better content.